Hello and welcome back to Channel England Football. My name's Gary and today I'm going to be picking who I think will be in Gareth Southgate's 26-man squad. This week it was announced that we can take 3 additional players. A couple of weeks ago I did a video on who I think I would take within my squad, but today I'm going to be picking who I think Gareth Southgate's going to be choosing. So without further delay, let's get into it. Right, so very quickly, just before we get into today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been liking and subscribing to my content and supporting me early on. This is my 5th video, and I think I've got about 10 subscribers now, which I think is fantastic. So a big thank you to those that already have liked and subscribed, and please do it if you're new to the channel. Again, this is a channel completely dedicated to the England national team. Right, getting straight into the video then. So, as I said a couple of weeks ago, check out my previous video, I picked my 23-man squad for the Euros, but today I wanted to pick who I think Gareth Southgate will choose, because there is going to be a difference between the two. And obviously this week it was announced that Southgate can now choose 26 players instead of the 23, which obviously is fantastic news. Apart from hearing that Southgate wasn't actually wanting to choose 26 players, he was apparently happy with the 23. I think he was quoted as saying it's a fine art picking a 23-man squad. But 26 is still difficult. There's still going to be a lot of players who I think is going to miss out. But this is who I think is going to be in Gareth Southgate's 26-man squad. So, getting straight into it, I think we all know who the main keepers are. It doesn't matter if we have a 48-man squad. I think the keepers are Pope, Pickford and Henderson. There's no doubt about those. Keepers don't often get injured. Like I said in my last video, even if one does, it doesn't really matter who comes in as a third keeper because they're not going to get any game time anyway. But they're the certs, stuck on Pope, Pickford and Henderson for the keepers. So I thought I'd get straight into the other side now. So, in terms of defenders, midfielders and strikers. So I think some of the key players that we're going to miss out, according to the press, and things like that, it's been well covered that Trent Alexander-Arnold's position within the squad has been at risk. Obviously, I now think that's a cert. I think it's a cert he's going. He can. I think Southgate has this thing about taking players who have looked after him in the past, done well for him. Obviously, Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier fitted that well. Both had a good tournament last time with him. He likes to be loyal to players. So I think that was one of the reasons why Trent Alexander-Arnold was going to miss out. People have obviously also questioned his form as well this year. I mean, he's not been the Trent Alexander-Arnold of old, but at the same time, when I say old, he's still young, but of last season. But he's still, he's still one of the best right backs in the world, and certainly for his age range. So I'm glad it's gone to 26 man. I think it'd have been. It's a difficult sell for Southgate if he'd have left him out, to be honest with you. I think there'd have been a lot of England fans frustrated. I know I'm talking as if he is definitely included, but I think with 26 players, I think he is. Particularly the fact that Kyle Walker can be taken as almost a cover for centre-back. So almost the 2 right-backs could be Trippier and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I think this extension to 26 players really does cement his place within the team now, or in the squad at least. And again, just going over whoever I think is going. I think Chilwell's going. I think Maguire's going. Stones is going. Luke Shaw's going. Trippier, as I said. And now I think a couple of the players who I was on about. I think Tyrone Mings goes within Gareth Southgate's squad, and I think this is another player now who's going to benefit from the extension of the players. I think Saka now goes, and the reason why is because he can play multiple positions. I think we all hear about, you want to pick players who are specialities within their positions, but there is a real appeal, isn't there, to being able to pick a player who can play in multiple positions. I think he's lost that with players like Eric Dyer, who he's going to really struggle to. I know Saka plays a different position, but we've seen in the past that Southgate likes players who can be adaptable and play in different areas. And like I said, with Dyer not playing so well, he can't really pick him. So he's going to start to look at other players. So like Walker, he's used him as centre back before. Saka's quite a flexible player. So I believe Saka will go now as part of this 26-man squad, along with those other defenders. So that's Chilwell, Maguire, Stones, Walker, Shaw, Trippier, Mings, Alexander-Arnold and Saka. I believe all those defenders are going within Southgate's squad. I think moving on to midfield, again, it allows Southgate to take not risks, but to pick a little bit more exciting, a little bit more of an exciting squad. So, I think players like Foden, Grealish, Mount, Rice, we all knew these players were going. However, I now think players like Henderson is a cert. I know there's been a little bit of a doubt, but because of his injuries and things like that. But I do honestly think Gareth Southgate will pick him, because I do think he's our best centre mid on his day. However, I understand that injury, not being fully fit is an issue, but when you've got a 26-man squad, you can almost take a risk on him a little bit. So I think Phillips goes. I think Bellingham goes, definitely. I think Bellingham's form has made it really difficult for him to leave out. I think he's done enough leading up to it for Southgate to pick him. And I think the two that were in doubt, but are now certain picks, is Lingard and Ward-Prowse. I do honestly think he'll pick Ward-Prowse. I really do. He's been picked in previous squads. I think Lingard's form speaks for itself. He's made himself unpickable. And again, going back to like Trippier and Walker, he's a player that Southgate knows well. He trusts him. So, I think Lingard is definitely on the plane along with those other guys. So that's Foden, Phillips, Grealish, Bellingham, Henderson, Lingard, Mount, Ward-Prowse and Rice. I think that's a really good, strong midfield contingent. I think some of those players, I do honestly think, particularly Ward-Prowse, I don't think he goes. I think Henderson's place in the squad is at risk if it's a 23-man squad, given his fitness. But I think all those things are now resolved a little bit with an extended squad. And then that finally brings me on to the forward. So you've got Calvert-Lewin, Rashford, Kane, Sancho and Sterling. I think all those players go. I think another one of those players that may have been in a lot of people's doubts, some people love him, some people hate him, or some people think he hasn't done enough for an England shirt, and that would be Sancho. But again, I think now the extension of that really does bring him back into the fold. So that to me that's what I think the squad will be, the 26-man squad. So that's Pope, Pickford, Henderson, Chilwell, Maguire, Stones, Walker, Shaw, Trippier, Mings, Alexander-Arnold, Saka, Foden, Phillips, Grealish, Bellingham, Henderson, Lingard, Mount, Ward-Prowse, Rice, Calvert-Lewin, Rashford, Kane, Sancho and Sterling. And I think what it allows now is players like Saka, players like I think Ward-Prowse, and it allows him to take those risks on those players that I think Southgate likes and is trusted in recent games, but he was the amount of competition within the team really restricted that. Going on to just generally discussing about the 26-man squad, I like the fact that it's a 26-man squad. I've always been a bit, why, I'm going to say why almost have a limit, but I don't understand sometimes the limits of squads. I know obviously it's probably for logistical reasons and organising a tournament and obviously dealing with a certain pool of players, but essentially, it would be nice to be able to take more players more routinely to tournaments. Just to get them, just to give them the experience and things like that. But obviously, we all enjoy picking a squad. It's really exciting. I think that squad is a squad that Southgate will choose. I think, maybe there's some doubts over Ward-Prowse. He might take someone like Maddison, for example, instead. But again, I think Maddison, particularly what's going off in the press recently with him, I think he was breaking COVID rules. I think it's Gareth Southgate likes to take people who aren't in any trouble with the press. I think Greenwood still misses out. That's another player. I just think, he went to Iceland, Foden, I spoke about it in my last video, and Greenwood hasn't pushed on really. He hasn't warranted being picked. And again, Southgate doesn't like to take risks on players. And I think that's one of the reasons why Grealish was so long getting into the England squad. I think it was his reputation about being a bit of a bad boy outside of football and maybe a bit of an influence in the dressing room. I don't think Gareth Southgate likes those players who are going to upset the apple cart a bit. And who would? So I think Gareth Southgate will play it safe. We know from past that he plays it safe. So that's why I feel like Maddison and Greenwood, these players that, yes, are really good players, but have been, quite recently gaining a lot of bad publicity and things like that. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like they're going to miss out on this tournament. But, it's an exciting tournament. I don't know why Gareth Southgate's so adamant that he didn't want 26 picks when, I don't see, it's fantastic that he's got an extra 3. I think it takes the pressure off him immensely because with the 23-man squad, I think no matter who he'd have picked, people would have been, saying, I can't believe he hasn't picked this player. I can't believe he hasn't picked this player. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I think Gareth Southgate's got a great opportunity now to take some risks, take some more attacking players, and hopefully, give us some options in big games and take the risk on those options. So hopefully, this is going to be a really exciting opportunity. get some players on that bus, not the plane, who would have been doubts. And you never know, these are players that may actually, when it comes down to it, be the difference for us. I think Saka, I hope to God he takes Saka, because I think he's exciting, particularly. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know, if he was going to miss out, it'd have been a travesty. So I'm really glad he's there. So that's it for today's videos, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, every single Sunday I'll be uploading an England news episode. So it's going to be episode 2 this Sunday. We're going to be discussing, again, in a little bit more detail about UEFA's decision to extend and a few other things that have happened this week. So make sure you tune in for that one. Thank you very much for your support. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with what I've said. Tell me if you think Gareth Southgate's going to pick someone else. So yeah, please leave me a comment and give me a like if you enjoyed the video. See you next time.